Assalamu alaikum, our dear students. Today we have our second lesson in our revision, and the title of the lesson is Revision D Part 2. Revision D is in the Technical English 1 course book, and you need to go to the course book pages 66 and 67. The objectives of our lesson today, we have two objectives. The first one is using the passive voice المبني للمجهول to focus on the result of an action للتركيز على نتيجة حدث معين. The second objective is using two different ways of writing a sentence with the same meaning. استخدام طريقتين لكتابة جملة بنفس المعنى أو معنى مشابه. Okay. First of all, let's go to the course book, page 66. We will do two exercises, exercise 11 and exercise 12. Let's look at exercise 11. Complete the table. Okay, we have two columns. Here on the left, focus on action. And we need to change the sentence to change the focus on the result of the action. Okay, let's see how. Number one, he's dented the front bumper. Dented عوج أو طعج يعني. The front bumper اللي هو صدام السيارة. Okay, so he has dented the front bumper. He is the doer of the action, the subject الفاعل, and the front bumper is the object المفعول به. Here we start with the front bumper. We start with المفعول به. Then we put is or are. Is for the singular للمفرد, are for the plural الجمع. And then we use the past participle of the verb التصريف الثالث للفعل. Let's see another one. You've broken the windscreen. Windscreen اللي هو الزجاج الأمامي للسيارة. You have broken the windscreen. So the windscreen is the object. So we start with the windscreen. We write it here. And the windscreen is singular, مفرد. So we use is. And then we use broken as a past participle. التصريف الثالث. So the answer should be the windscreen is broken. Number 3. Someone has burned the rear seat of the car. في شخص حرق the rear seat of the car الكرسي الخلفي للسيارة. We start with the rear seat of the car, which is singular and it's the object هي المفعول به ومفرد. So after we write the rear seat of the car, we need to write is because it's singular إنها مفرد, and then the past participle of burnt, which is burnt also. So the rear seat of the car is burnt. Number 4, we have bent the poles of the scaffolding. Where is the object المفعول به the poles of the scaffolding? So we start with the poles of the scaffolding. The poles is plural, so we use are, then we use bent, the past participle. The past participle of bent is bent. The poles of the scaffolding are bent. Why did we use are? Because of the poles. Okay? نقدر نلغي احنا of the scaffolding. هي الأساس the poles. The poles are burned. Which poles? The poles of the scaffolding are bent. Number 5. They have torn the safety jackets. Torn يعني قطع أو مزق. So where is the subject? They. The object is the safety jackets. So we start with the safety jackets. Jackets is plural. So we use are and then torn. So the answer would be The safety jackets are torn. The last sentence in this exercise, someone has scratched the rear panel of the car. Where is the object? The rear panel of the car. So we start with the rear panel of the car, and then it's singular, so we use is, and scratched. So the answer should be the rear panel of the car is scratched. Good. Now here we need to complete this table. He's bent the antenna. It's similar to this one. So the antenna is, we have is, so we need the past participle is bent. Okay. There is a small in the antenna. There is, لما نلاقي there is يوجد, so we need here the noun. The noun from this word bent is bend. انحناء أو شيء معوج يعني عوجة في الانتنة الاريال. Number 2, the fire has burned the walls, so the walls are burnt, the past participle, التصريف الثالث. And here we say there are two large. Here we need the noun from burnt, burns, because two, لأن هما اتنين حرقين حرقين. There are two large burns on the walls. Number 3, you've cracked the window. So the window is, we need the past participle of cracked is crack. So there are يوجد some بعض cracks تشققات التشققات in the window. The window is cracked مشققة. There are some cracks يوجد بعض الشقوق. I've torn my shirt. أنا قطعت الجاكيت بتاعي. So my shirt is torn مقطوع، أو هنا بمعنى ممزق يعني، لكن مش مقطوع زي حاجة تانية مثلا كيبل، إنما هنا في شيء ممزق. There is a in noun من torn tear قطع. There is a tear in my shirt. Good. So now we have used the passive is and the past participle, or are and the past participle, to describe something and focus on the action, the result of the action. Here we focus on the action, but here we focus on the result of action. بنركز على نتيجة الحدث. نتيجة الحدث ايه؟ ان الويند سكرين مكسورة، ان الرير سيت اصبح محروق معوج، السكافولدينج او البولز، الجاكيتس بقت ممزقة. دي النتيجة الشيء او الفعل اللي حدث. هنا استخدمنا نفس الشيء واضفنا ان ازاي استخدم الناون burned انحناء، burns حروق، cracks تشققات، tear قطع. Now let's go to page 67. We're going to use some of the sentences we learned in the previous exercise, and we're going to use some other ways to write sentences with the same meaning. Here we have number 1. There is a scratch on this cover, so this cover is, we need a past participle here, scratched. There are no wheels on the car. ما فيش عجلات في السيارة. The car has no wheels. ما فيهاش عجلات. The cables don't have any plugs. ما فيهاش أي plugs. So there are، هنعمل جملة شبه دي كده. There are no plugs on the cable. There are no plugs on the cables. Number 4, the windscreens are cracked. So there are some, we need the noun here. What is the noun from cracked? It's cracked. So we need, or here to put cracks. There are some cracks where on the windscreen. There are some cracks on the windscreen. There is no workshop manual. Workshop manual اللي هو دليل تشغيل الورشة. دليل التشغيل المانيوال ده بيبقى مع أي جهاز أو في أي مكان. There is no workshop manual in this garage. So this garage doesn't have, like this one, doesn't have any workshop manual. Finally, there's a dent in the roof of the car. So the roof of the car is dented. So now, after we have seen this, we can say that we have achieved the two objectives of our lesson today. Please don't forget to answer the homework. After watching the video, you have 24 hours to finish the homework. Good luck.